First, my Pittsburgh Steelers last night had a golden opportunity to take, in the middle of October, by the way, a 3.5 game lead in the division, in the AFC North, which all of a sudden has become arguably the worst division in football. Cleveland's awful. We knew that. Baltimore's without Lamar Jackson. They're 1-5, and their defense is awful. Even if Lamar comes back, and Joe Burrow, the Bengals, until last night, had it 0-4 since he was injured. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, road favorites, big expectations. Finally, the national audience, Thursday Night Football, standalone game, Amazon Prime, Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit on the call. It's a national audience expecting, man, Steelers going to get a good old hard-fought AFC North victory, go to 5-1, open up a massive lead in the AFC North right as they're about to go to the most difficult part of their schedule. Because they got Green Bay, they got the Colts and the Chargers, and later this year they got Buffalo and Baltimore twice with Lamar and Detroit. And the schedule does not get much easier for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So could they take care of business in a spot against the Baltimore Ravens? Well, credit where it is due. And I've said, listen, it was the Unk Bowl in every way, shape, or form, and boy, did both Unks deliver. How about Aaron freaking Rodgers? You see the 2 interceptions right there. Couldn't give a crap. The first one was an awful throw. He tried to, throw a deep ball down the left sideline. Bad throw, double coverage. The second one was not Aaron's fault. The ball was literally stolen from DK Metcalf. Aaron was awesome last night. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 touchdowns against Cincinnati Bengals, 67% completion, 249 pass yards, 103 rating, and a QBR 0-100 of 76. That's 20 points higher than Aaron's season average. Aaron was great. Aaron, for the first time all year, and to be fair, Cincinnati does have a bad defense. I understand that. But for the first time since the Green Bay days, man, he was moving and grooving off platform and extending plays out of the pocket. The touchdown to Jonnu Smith first half. He's getting out, moving out to his right, and the offensive line gives him, 8 seconds to throw? In some cases, he gives himself 8 seconds to throw. I'm like, whoo, hang on a second. We get Green Bay Aaron Rodgers tonight? Okay, I'll take that. We got something here. And by the way, all 4 touchdown passes from Aaron Rodgers all went to tight ends. One to Darnell Washington, who did the 6'7" celebration, which was fitting because he is 6 feet 7 inches tall. Jonnu Smith, obviously, early on, and Pat Freiermuth, who caught a couple of touchdowns in the second half, including the go-ahead one, which we'll get to later in the segment. But Aaron did his job. And for all of my concerns, for all of my skepticism on the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into this year, a season which I said, I think this is going to be the first losing season of the Mike Tomlin era. Aaron's old. Aaron was not nearly as good as his stats would show you last year. Hasn't been good since 2021. The O-line's not great. There's not a number 2 receiver opposite DK Metcalf. Can't run the ball. None of it. O-line's gotten better by the week. You got Jaylen Warren going for over 100 yards. Jaylen Warren was excellent. Aaron had his best game as a Steeler. The tight ends, all 3 of them were awesome. Arthur Smith has called a great game, generally, over the course of this season. But it's the guy who it's the biggest sham in sports, the standard in Pittsburgh, the guy who allegedly is this just mastermind, great defensive coach. Like, man, if you even so much as question what Mike Tomlin is able to do running this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. By the way, can we look at what the Steelers defense is after last night? Can we show those numbers? Not very good. 17th in opponent points per game, 28th in opponent total yards per game, 31st, second to last. Only the Cowboys, who we ridicule their defense, are behind the Steelers in terms of opponent pass yards per game. You talk about the fact that Pittsburgh is 18th in opponent rush yards per game, but they've been feasting because they're 3rd in takeaways and they are 2nd in sacks. So this is the Steelers defense that is, if they can't bring the quarterback to the ground, if they can't take the ball away, they're cooked. Mike Tomlin. And by the way, we can talk about the fact that the second Unk, Joe Flacco, was great last night. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 60% completion, 342, buck 08 passer rating, QBR 0-175. He was great. But part of the reason for that, and Jamar Chase, by the way, is excellent as well. Jamar Chase is, without question, a top 2 receiver in the game. 16 catches was the Bengals' record in a single game. 161 receiving yards, a touchdown, 10.1 yards per catch. We can talk about all those factors. But how about the fact that against, the best receiving duo in football, in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, the Steelers say, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to go straight man-to-man the whole game. That's what we're going to do. Matter of fact, the stats bear out. This is from ESPN. I got this from ESPN this morning. This is interesting and shows the lack of adjustments that Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator Steelers, made last night. Joe Flacco on 28 dropbacks against man coverage, 199 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Chase and Higgins caught 13 of 20 targets for 151 yards, despite the fact, in large part because of the fact that the Steelers play man coverage on 57% of their snaps, which is a season high. Ramsey got cooked. Joey Porter Jr., and I love Joey Porter Jr., got penalized the whole night. Could not defend without grabbing Higgins or Chase. Mostly Higgins. And Joe Flacco carved him up, to use the name of the show. And by the way, even more damning, even worse. Listen, Jamar Chase goes off on a lot of defenses. He's a great player. T. Higgins would be a number 1 receiver. I've said this many times on the show, on half the league. He's capable of going for 100, 150 yards. He went for, I think, 96 last night. He's capable for going off any game. Part of the reason that I was not as high in the Bengals this year, certainly before Burrow went down, is not just that the defense was bad and that the O-line was bad. The O-line, by the way, TJ Watt was a no-show last night against. What was because of the fact that, wait, they don't have a run game. This whole, Chase Brown, fantasy darling, watch out for Chase. I'm like, what am I watching out for? He's an average running back. Maybe part of that is because the Bengals O-line's terrible, but from my mind's eye, from last year, I didn't think he was that good. And he wasn't, and hasn't been this season. Except for this year, put up this graphic. Thus far, Chase Brown in the first 6 games of the year, in terms of rushing yards, 43, 47, 3, 40, 27, 42. Last night, 108. Before last night, he had not averaged more than 4.7 yards per carry. Last night, he had 9.8. He basically had a first down a touch. The last ranked running offense in the sport went for 142 yards, went off on the Steelers defense. It was Aaron Rodgers who kept the Steelers in it. It was the tight ends, Freiermuth and Johnny Smith and, Darnell Washington making plays. It was Arthur Smith. Again, to be fair, the Bengals have a bad defense, so you have to take that into account. It's not like they went off on the Broncos defense or something. Bengals can't defend that. They got a bad defense. We know this. But Aaron was moving, grooving. Even the Hail Mary late was the deepest throw any quarterbacks had in 8 years. So Aaron still got the arm. I'm not going to lie. Even watching that Hail Mary late, I'm like, I think he's going to do it. Hail Marys are obviously very rare. Aaron's done them better than anybody. But just watching this all of last night, a lack of adjustments, a lack of situational awareness. I mean, I swear to God. I mean, can we show Joe Flacco's passing chart? I swear to God, it felt like Joe Flacco was going slant to Jamar Chase every third play, every second play in some cases in the second half, because they wouldn't bring more attention to that side, and they couldn't stop the run. And by the way, this being, because I've always said, the baseline of being a half-decent head coach in the NFL, what's your side of the ball? Is that side of the ball on your team good? Like I remember a couple of years ago when you had folks out there defending Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley's a defensive coach. The Chargers defense was awful. Like Jesse Minter fixed it in one off season in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Mike Tomlin, defensive guru, right? Like that's what I hear. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, most of this comes with Omar Khan as the general manager. They've given him they've given him the pieces. They've spent more money on their defense than any team in football every year since 2021. Well, can we show where the defense ranks each and every year since 2021? Not very good. 24th, 13th, 21st, 12th. This year, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the 28th ranked defense in the National Football League. They're not good. Whether that's a Tomlin problem, a Terrell Austin problem, even if it's a Terrell Austin problem, guess who hired him? Tomlin. It's a disaster. And by the way, yet another game in which Mike Tomlin cannot win when his defense gives up over 30, despite the fact that his offense scored 30. Let's go and put up this graphic. We added to it after last night. When the Steelers allowed 30 or more points of a Tomlin era, 7-43. Since Big Ben retired, 1-10. And since the first season in which the Pittsburgh Steelers have not won a playoff game in this long drought, since the 2017 playoff loss to the Blake Bortles Jags, 1-20 win-loss record when the Pittsburgh Steelers give up 30 or more points. Just for your curiosity, in case you're wondering, that one win comes against the freaking hapless, woebegone, pathetic New York Jets. Who Justin Fields, and can we show, this is a good blind resume. Can we show Justin Fields numbers compared to a mystery quarterback? We like to do blind resumes sometimes on the show. Justin Fields, right? 3 total touchdowns, no turnovers, 266 total yards, 72% completion, 119 passer rating, QBR 0 to 100 of 76.5. Pretty darn good against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, who's mystery quarterback, you might ask? That's Justin Fields against everybody else. So 2 more touchdowns than he averages. Less turnovers. Justin Fields only has 1 turnover in the year to his credit, but almost 100 yards more, or basically 75 yards more against us than he's had against everybody else. Completion percentage up almost 10% against us than against everybody else. Passer rating up 31 freaking points against us versus everybody else. And QBR, sweet mother of 50 points higher than it is against everybody else. Joe Flacco, and I don't want to take credit from Joe. This man has been a Bengal for 10 days. He's traded there last week. And Mike Tomlin, by the way, tried to cover for himself early on, talking about, man, I can't believe the Browns traded for Joe Flacco, traded him in division to a team that needed a quarterback. This is what Tomlin said if you didn't catch earlier in the week or last week what he said.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Okay. It's funny he says that because now after last night, because obviously Mike Tomlin and Joe Flacco faced each other on a number of occasions, obviously with Joe Flacco as the quarterback of the Ravens back in the day, Super Bowl MVP back in 2012. On a short week, Mike Tomlin, 1-7 against Joe Flacco in his career. On a short week on Thursday Night Football on the road against divisional opponents, Mike Tomlin, 0 for 7 against division rivals on Thursday Night Football with less time to prepare. I said before the year that potentially my only saving grace, because I was, as many of y'all know, not a fan of the Aaron Rodgers signing. Thus far, it's worked out great. Like, I cannot knock Aaron whatsoever for what he's done thus far this year. I thought he was awesome last night. But I said my saving grace is maybe if this just blows up, maybe then the Steelers front office is like, you know what? The guy with the whole non-losing season streak, who, by the way, can we show what the Steelers have done in their playoff appearances in those non-losing season streaks since 2017? Down 21-0 to the Jags, 28-0 to the Browns, 35-7 to the Chiefs, 21-0 to the Bills, 21-0 to the Ravens. By the way, a team you should be quite familiar with, down 21-0 to your fiercest division rival. Maybe then front office of Pittsburgh be like, well, the old quarterback did okay. Arthur Smith, I'm not saying you should promote Arthur Smith to head coach, by the way, but Arthur Smith calls good plays. They've run the ball effectively with Jalen Warren, and the offensive line is getting better every week. Wait, listen. Offense is out there into the bargain for the first time in years in Pittsburgh, really since the last time Prime Big Ben was there. Offense is more than hell up there into the bargain. 3 times this year, they've scored over 30. And I believe this is our second time that they've scored 30 this year. 1-1 in those games. If the defense continues to play this way, again, can we put that graphic up just one more time? A highest paid defense in the NFL since 2021, and this is where they've ranked in that span. 24th, 13th, 21st, 12th. And this year, folks, they're the 5th worst defense in the National Football League. You can blame players. Feel free. Jalen Ramsey got cooked last night. I'm going to blame the fact that they played man coverage 57% of the time. Most they have all season against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and did not go away from it. And before we get to the comments, before we go to a quick break, before we have Arthur on the show, I just want to say this too. One thing Tomlin is also not very good at, among other things, the Steelers aren't a terribly disciplined football team. And you saw this last night. I don't even care if this video doesn't even get monetized because we show this, because sometimes a lot of times we're not allowed to show footage from the games. Let's just show it. So Aaron Rodgers makes the play of the night, or his best play of the night at least, rolls to his left and throws a freaking dot to Pat Fryermuth, who takes it the distance for the go-ahead touchdown. And Aaron's like, let's go, hyped up, pumping his fist. He does the old man, kind of Super Mario Brothers celebration. And we can't even do that right. Here's Broderick Jones, who, ragdolls Aaron. That's one thing. Okay, that's fine. He celebrates, he's hyped. Aaron's, let's go, Super Mario Brothers. And Broderick Jones tackles Aaron. Oh, what are we doing? And then Aaron gets up. He's livid. And can we just do quickly? Yeah, he's pissed off. He's on the sideline. Can we do a tail of the tape real quick? Can we do Aaron Rodgers versus Broderick Jones? Because last I checked, Aaron's a quarterback. Broderick Jones is a tackle. Aaron's 3 inches shorter than Broderick Jones. Almost 100 pounds lighter. 17 years older, and one Achilles surgery on his resume. Broderick Jones, your job is to protect Aaron from hits. I've ripped Aaron over the years for his interactions with teammates, for getting on guys when they didn't deserve it. He's not taking accountability. I'm 100% Team Aaron here. There's a reason quarterbacks wear a red jersey in practice. Don't touch them. That's your most valuable asset. You're cooked if you don't have them. And this guy tackles him. Like, what are we doing? If you ragged on your quarterback, that's fine. I'm not crazy about it because Aaron's 41 years old off an Achilles surgery. Fine. Oh, you tackle him to the ground, you blindsided him. You just blindsided your quarterback, brought him to the ground. You could have legit hurt Aaron Rodgers. You're almost 100 pounds heavier than him. Golly. Can't even celebrate right in Pittsburgh. It's a disaster. Listen, the Steelers season's not over. It's not a disaster. But good Lord, that was an opportunity to take a 3.5 game lead in the division. And there's no other way to say it other than the fact that Pittsburgh Steelers blew it. But Aaron Rodgers, and again, to his credit, thus far, Steelers hit adversity. He's been good with the media. This is what he said after the game.
Listen, we want to win every game. There needs to be an expectation of winning, but this is a short week, division opponent. Anything can happen. Obviously, Joe played really well for them, and Chase and T got going for him. But this is the NFL. We had a chance to really open up some space, but we're 4-2, still first in the division. Got a couple, home games coming up, back-to-back, another Sunday night opportunity against my former team. So I'm not going to ride the roller coaster, and I know Mike isn't, and hopefully you guys follow suit.
Listen, I'm glad Aaron's not riding the roller coaster, right? And I hope that is the case. But I am, because I've seen this story plays itself out. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.